Hey guys, so today I thought I would take you along as I plan my 2021 reading journal. It's not something I talk a lot about on this channel, but I do use a reading journal to track my daily reading habits, a lot of stuff for my reading notes, and also just because I really enjoy bullet journaling in general. Now, I use this reading journal. It's a cheap one that I got off Amazon for $8 or $9, I want to say. It's not the fanciest thing, but it does the job, and I actually really like it. The sticker that I have on top of it is from Redbubble, and I will link it in the description down below if I can find exactly where I got it from. I did a video something like this a few months ago where I showed you guys my reading journal after I first set it up, and it did really well. You guys seemed to really enjoy it, so I thought I would do another one and let you guys come along as I drew everything out. I will apologize in advance because you can see my head in a bunch of the shots. Getting the camera to balance overhead so that I could film was a pretty tricky thing. I spent about 3 hours on the floor and my back really hurt after it, but the video came out really nicely and I'm really proud of it. So now I'm going to let VoiceOver Me take over. I figured that the best way to start would be to give you guys a quick flip through of the spreads I had and used in 2020. The title page is a quote by Orhan Pamuk that I also have on my blog. I read a book one day and my whole life was changed. And if that isn't fitting, I don't know what is. I have a spread for my physical and audiobook TBRs, my reading pixels from September to December, my Goodreads challenge, and the books I read each month, which I never finished filling out. Then I have a list of books I wanted to read before the end of the year, and my tracker of all the books I read in 2020 and their star ratings. I drew these stars by hand so they look a little funky, but I'm looking into a stamp to make them look a little nicer. Then I have a library checkouts tracker that I stopped using and my September TBR page. I tracked the times I spent reading each day and my total books, pages, and hours read that month. It was supposed to be a regular thing, but you'll see that I never actually did it again. Then I have my Bookstagram prompts for the month and some reading notes to help me when I write my wrap-ups. My October TBR page was inspired by @GiselleReads on Instagram, which I will link in the description. I had more notes for my reads that month, and then my November TBR, which I never colored in for some reason. Lastly, we have my December TBR page and reading notes. And now I'm ready to start 2021. For my supplies, I brought out some washi tape in case I wanted to use it, my Crayola Super Tip markers, Faber-Castell Pitt Artist metallic markers, silver and gold gel pens, my black Tombow brush pen, a candle for some ambiance and peppermint scents, a bookish pin to fill in some empty floor space, and listen to My Favorite Murder while I filled in everything. I listened to about 2 full episodes and 2 minisodes while setting up these spreads. As you can tell, I had a lot of trouble lighting my candle. For some reason, I'm really terrible at using these lighters. But once it was lit, I arranged some of my supplies, brought in my Baymax mug, which has chai in it, and got started. I started off with the title page, which I didn't really think through before I put pen to paper. It doesn't look the best, but I'm not mad at it, and I won't be looking at it much anyways. I knew I wanted to do another Goodreads tracker for my 2021 reading goals, so I drew 40 boxes and numbered them. Whenever I finish a book, I get to color in a box. I haven't totally decided what colors I'm going to use, but this will be a pretty colorful spread when I'm done. left some space because I know I want to have a spot to record when I hit my goal and how many books I actually read this year. So when I figure out how I want it to look, I'll put that in the empty space. Next, I made another Reading Pixels tracker. Basically, I fill in a square each day with a different color depending on how many pages I read that day. It's a fun little thing, and I get my numbers from using the app Bookly while I read. I picked a rainbow of colors and assigned them to a number range, and then added a dot for the days I finished a book. So the final spread at the end of the year will hopefully be super colorful. For my reading shelf, I was inspired by @Amarissafloria on Instagram. She posted a picture of her shelf for 2021, and I loved it, so I decided to use it for my reading journal too. The plan is to draw 40 books on these shelves and write down the days I finish a book, then color them in depending on whether it was a physical book, ebook, or audiobook. For my 2021 reads page, I basically did the same thing that I had for my 2020 reads. Using my black Tombow brush pen, I made little blobs on every other line. Once that's dry, I'll go in with my gold and silver gel pens, alternating the colors for my odd and even numbers. I also have space for more than 40 books if I end up exceeding my goal. Then I have my 10 in 2021 page, which is just a checklist of books I want to read before the end of the year. I filled it out off camera because I needed to sit and stare at my bookshelf for a while before deciding what to put on the list. If you're curious about what I chose, I'll link my blog post about it in the description. I'd seen a few other people do a stats page like this, and since I love tracking my stats in as many ways as possible, I thought this might be fun and potentially help me get through some of the audiobooks I need to knock off my TBR. The spread is pretty common, but I saw it on Mochi Bujo's channel here on YouTube. In each box, I'm tracking the number of physical books, audiobooks, and ebooks I read each month, as well as how many books are from my own TBR and how many I've borrowed from the library. I'm hoping that seeing it broken down like this will encourage me to read in other formats, since I mostly read in physical books. Then, because I still had space left, I decided to make a spread for each of my favorite books of the month. That way, it's easier for me to pick my favorites at the end of the year, and it helps highlight the ones I enjoyed most if I ever have bad reading months. Finally, I'm creating my TBR page for January. I saw this on Instagram too from the account @Lucy'sLibrary_ and decided to do my own version. I wanted to have a space to show off my favorite book of the month along with my reasons for it, and also have a spot to list my TBR for the month. Depending on how many books I want to read in each month, this can easily be adjusted too, which I really like. See that I've printed off a bunch of book covers, all of which are on my January TBR. I wanted to use them as dividers for my reading notes and also have one to stick on the page for my favorite of the month. I've seen a lot of other people do this, so I wanted to try it for myself and see how I like it. To make sure I don't lose them, I have an envelope to keep them safe and all in one place. Now that the ink has dried fully, I'm going in with my gold and silver gel pens to number off the books I will read this year. I started with gold for the odd numbers and silver for the even numbers. It makes the spread a little more fun and I like the alternating colors. Then I went back to my Goodreads Reading Challenge spread and numbered each box with a regular pen and wrote out the title in gold gel pen. Here's the final flip through of each spread in my journal. I'm really happy with how they all turned out. The spreads are pretty but still functional, which is a big thing for me. They're minimalistic and still have plenty of space for me to be creative. I've also included some close-up footage so you can see more of the details of each spread. hope you enjoyed that video. I really like how my reading journal turned out. It's definitely a lot more artistic than my personal bullet journal, but that's totally fine. I like having my reading journal be the artistic one. If you have a reading journal, I would love to know what kind of spreads you did, if we did anything similar, if you're looking for ideas, or if you're even thinking of starting a reading journal. I think it's a lot of fun, it's totally worth it, and you don't even need to be really good at art to do it, because I'm definitely not good at art, which is one of the reasons why I don't draw in it, but I still have a lot of fun just having a journal and having something physical to track my reading in. That's all that I have for this video, and I will see you guys next Saturday. Bye!